Hi, how goes it? It's morning and I've been reading and experiencing. And I don't know if I don't know what will come through, but I want to try to share something here. And it has to do with the I don't know. I say this often. I know how I feel about it. I know what it represents to me. Putting that in words is another thing. But I found some words in the Papaji biography that I want to share with you here. And so it's bhakti this morning. So go into your heart and find the love that is there. Okay. When we say, I don't know, when we speak of surrender and emptiness, we're looking at these in negative terms. We're the positive thing and we have to let these things go. And so that's a minus or a negative as far as, getting rid of them. And maybe it's a negative because it's difficult or whatever. Maybe it's a negative because we don't see why we should get rid of whatever, Maybe it doesn't make sense. Well, I'm coming at it this morning from the positive sense, for lack of a better word. Let Papaji say it. Now, there's a Hindu tradition that is very ancient on nama japa, on the name of God, repeating the name of God. You might have heard that when Gandhi was killed, the last word on his lips was Ram. And this is often the supreme name of God. Now that can be uttered. The real name of God isn't something that can be said here, and it is what is said to be responsible for manifestation, all manifestation. Nothing physical is manifest absent this name of God. And I'll just share with you a summary that Papaji would often give. It says that he didn't often give this kind of a teaching when there were Westerners in the audience, which was more later in his life. People came from all over the world to see him. But when it was natives, Hindus, Indians, he would teach on bhakti and on the intensity of love that is there. There's a whole different culture there, a different understanding of life that's very beautiful. But the Westerner comes in like a bull in a china shop and is just not open to that, is not culturally prepared or ready for it. So there are three things, he says. The real name of God is indistinguishable from God himself. 2, when one finds God in the heart, one finds God's name, which is one's own real name, repeating itself there, but not in ways that are perceptible to the senses. And 3, God's original, unutterable name is the source of all manifestation. And that's not to teach you anything great, but I think maybe in this there'll be something said about the name, and that way you'll have a bit of a background. So The name is the form of the formless. We dwell with descriptions of names and forms, and not with that state in which the described is not different from the describer. Descriptions come from the senses, and when we attend to what the senses are telling us, we become absorbed in emotional responses. But when the name is uttered, when it is heard in the heart, there is nothing. Nothing to be involved in. Nothing to get emotional about. Nothing to get attached to. Nothing to depend on. And so there's something else here that's really beautiful. They ask him questions, and one of them was how to concentrate. I don't know how to do it. And this is Papaji's answer. You are already concentrated. All the time, you are concentrating on the idea, I am so-and-so. My advice is to stop concentrating on anything. Be the subject alone. So, my advice is to stop concentrating on anything. And as we see, that means our awareness of who we are. Be the subject alone. The state of, quote unquote, don't know, denotes a real experience. Your memory is full of objective knowledge that you have acquired from outside. Any answer that you find in your memory cannot be a real answer. If you want to know, who am I, you will not find a real answer anywhere in your mind. You will find it in a place where you have nothing to compare it to. It's a quick, sudden experience that has nothing to do with the mind. And if asking, who am I, does not appeal to you, ask, to whom do I belong? I had earlier taken down a little note in my ideas document. We only discover certain things when we don't care anymore, when we don't have an interest or a preference. In other words, when we've surrendered them. I mean, you know, and sometimes things surrender themselves. You look over and you realize, oh my God, I don't care about that anymore. But you didn't do that. It just happened. So there's this non-interest, not having a preference. So the really high and holy things are withheld from us, by us, most likely by our higher self, until we don't want them anymore, until we don't need them, until we don't care. And it seems that only then can they be revealed to us. Only once it doesn't matter will we be given to know such things. So there is a real divinity in non-attachment. Papaji once said, only when you're not seeing what is before you will you see God. In the surrender of all, divinity is there manifest. And so my hope is that you can see this surrender is not a pathway of suffering and asceticism and all of that, I think the churches and the religions have placed that stamp upon it to turn us away from it. Instead, it's a path of divine love and joy and delight beyond all knowing, beyond all human knowing. We'll let this one be short. Good day. Hi. I'll go something here. And it has to do with the I don't know. I say this often. I know how I feel about it. I know what it represents to me. Putting that in words is another thing. But I found some words in the Papaji biography that I want to share with you here. Insane. And I don't know if I don't know what will come through, but I want to try to share. It. It's morning, and I've been reading and experience